welcome back to my channel. I am Vagisha Mishra and I review and decode beauty pageants at my channel. If you're visiting the channel for the first time, make sure you subscribe and turn on the bell icon so you'll be the first to get notified whenever a video goes live at my channel. So this is one of the most heavily requested videos at my channel and I've been waiting since so long to do this video. So today I'm going to be debunking some myths of closed door interview. So let's get started. So what is closed door interview? By its very name, it's very easy to understand that it is an interview which is not accessible to the public. So you must have seen many of the candidates who perform exceptionally well when it comes to preliminary activities and events such as evening gown round or the swimsuit round and many other activities as well. But they sometimes even fail to win the crown or even get a placement. So what is it that goes wrong? So these are the candidates who are not in the radar of the jury panel, who think that the candidate is not worthy enough to give the crown or somewhere is not worthy enough to even get an attention through the placement. So while you may go on boasting about your social flaws, gliding effortlessly on a runway and giving extraordinary photogenic pictures, but somewhere you lack something which is called an authentic personality, which is sprung clearly and lucidly only in the closed door interview. Of course, these are the prerequisites of winning any beauty pageants. As a part of beauty pageant, you need to excel in all these rounds, but these alone can never guarantee you a crown unless you have something very original or authentic to offer to a beauty pageant organization. So how does the organization decide whether the candidate who is considered as a front runner by the pageant fans and pageant critics actually deserves the title or the placement? Well, closed door interviews come to rescue for such dilemmas. In the closed door interviews, about 5 to 6 members in the jury panel along with the chairperson of the beauty pageant organization ask you a series of 5 to 6 questions which may be about your background but not limited to your social cause, as well as about your life experience as an individual. They may also give you some hypothetical questions or situation to understand what you think about life in general, meaning hearing your thoughts over an imaginary situation. Each girl gets about 7 to 8 minutes of closed door interview. So you can even make that impression in those 7 to 8 minutes or break your image which you have formulated in all these weeks of the pre-pageant activities. Now coming to the second question, why are closed door interview not accessible to the public? As we know that pageant evokes a sense of thrill and adventure through the evening gown rounds, the swimsuit round and many other pre-pageant activities which are organized before the finale. So if the closed door interview is made accessible to the public will always obviously understand that who is it who is having an authentic personality and who is faking it or talking superficially. This in turn will always kill the results, which will be easily predictable by the people who are watching it or following it very closely. So hence I think that is why this is the reason why all the beauty pageants always keep the closed door interview limited to their own access. Now coming to the question, what are the most commonly asked questions in the closed door interview? While the closed door interview is never accessible to the public or audience, but after consulting many of the former beauty queens, pageant aspirants who have competed in the zonals or the finals or even at Miss Universe or Miss World stage, I got a hold of few questions which are repeatedly asked at the closed door interview of all the beauty pageants. However, knowing these questions will not guarantee you if you're going to give a very good shot at the closed door interview unless you have very unique or new thing to offer. So let's have a look at some of the closed door interview questions which are repeatedly asked, and you must definitely know the answer of these questions because you are going to certainly encounter such questions. So the first commonly asked question is, what makes you extraordinary among the other candidates? Why should you win this title? Or what makes you different from other delegates? So this is one of the most commonly asked questions you are going to encounter for sure, to answer which you can always talk about your special achievements, but please ensure you don't brag about them. They should be very authentic and real to life. They should not be bragging something which you do not believe in. When it is asked that why are you special, you need not make some fellow contestant devalue than your own word, but rather you should always uplift your image by backing up certain points which add up to your own personality. Now coming to the most commonly asked second question, what is it that you're most passionate about? What cause is very close to your heart? So this question you may encounter at both the Miss World and Miss Universe pageant, because Miss World pageant always has beauty with a purpose segment in it. So they may also skip this question, but for Miss Universe pageant you need to have a cause, because when you're competing in any beauty pageant and you're clueless of why you're competing in, why do you need this platform in order to vocalize your opinion about anything specific, until they are very convinced with your personality or your answer, they are obviously not going to even give you a placement. Now the third question you're going to encounter is, what will it mean to you if you are crowned as next Miss World, Miss Universe, Femina Miss India or Miss Diva? Now here you need not say that this is your childhood dream, because most of the girls whom I encounter in auditions or who go on to compete in any beauty pageant, they keep on saying that they have seen Aishwarya, Sushmita, Lara or Manushi winning the Miss World crown and hence they want to become one of them. But this is not a valid answer to the question. You need to specify why are you here for the cause. What is it that makes you one among them? What is it that makes you win the title of Femina Miss India, Miss Diva, Miss World or Miss Universe in order to achieve something? Because if you have already achieved so many things in your life, why do you need a platform for it? And how effectively are you going to use that platform? Coming to another question, what is it that you like most about yourself and what is it that you hate most about yourself? So I'm a soft skill teacher and I have always asked these questions to my students, so those who are watching it, they know what I recommend them to answer to such questions. Usually it is always a question about strength or your weakness. Now a very common answer which I encounter when people start stating their weaknesses is that they are very personal. Like they sometimes say that I'm very short-tempered, or I overthink a lot and I am fragile emotionally. So these kind of things are not going to help you when you're competing in any beauty pageant. So when you go on competing in any beauty pageant, these things will always make you look smaller or somebody who is not having a very strong personality. So you need to overcome these small attributes. You can rather say that you're a workaholic because you love to be passionately surrounded by the causes you are working for, and you need to work all the time. So this is something which you want to stop. So this in return will let them think that if you are a workaholic, certainly that is an asset for them, because you will always be taking your job very seriously. And by job I mean the Miss World or the Miss Universe title, because it itself is a job for one whole year where you get to travel a lot, you meet a lot of new people and you stand for different causes. For talking about your strength should always be very authentic. It should never brag. So you must have seen Tejaswini Manogana's introduction video at Miss Diva, and you can see that it was 5 minutes long. So most of the pageant critics were not actually appreciative of the fact that why is she bragging a lot about herself. Now that Tejaswini is very accomplished woman and I really admire and respect her from the bottom of my heart for representing India so beautifully. But when it comes to beauty pageant, the jury panel usually tends to get bored when the introduction or when the list of your strengths go on increasing beyond a certain limit. So you have to be very concise and precise about the points you are stating in your strengths. Now coming to another commonly asked question, why did you decide to compete in this beauty pageant? Again, as I said, that you need not say that this was your childhood dream and you had been waiting so long to be here. So this is something very interesting. You should answer in your own unique but authentic way. It should not be something which is very out of the reach or imaginary or hypothetical in nature. It has to be authentic, real and very strong. Now another question which you will commonly encounter in the closed door interview is, what is it that you are going to take home from this beauty pageant apart from the crown and the sash? So this was a very similar question which Manushi was also asked. She said that she is going to take home the values of her fellow contestants who have represented different states so beautifully. So she has learned a lot of cultures and how people think and talk in all these 30 days. So in 30 days she has learned 30 different new culture, and this is what she's going to take home. So this sounded more authentic and more relatable. So make sure that you are answering something which is very authentic in nature and is also at the same time very relatable. And the most common one, tell us more about yourself. So when the jury panel asks you about yourself, it does not necessarily mean that you keep on boasting about your educational achievements or your background, where you were born and brought up. It has to have some very unique qualities which other candidates may have not mentioned in their tell us about yourself question. So you have to be very creative, and this should be something very personal, but not personal to that extent that it goes on revealing each of your personal aspects of life. So it has to be personal, but at the same time very unique and should sound professional. Another question you are going to encounter is, who is your role model, or who is it that you look up to? Most of the beauty pageant aspirants, they keep on answering it in a way by naming some of their family members. So this is a huge drawback, because you might be aware about your family members' struggle and how they evolved in the given situation, but the people who are sitting in the jury are not aware about the same. So you must have somebody generic in order to tell them that these are the qualities whom I relate to. Suppose if you say you relate to Rita Faria and you look up to Rita Faria. So she was the first Asian and Indian woman to get crowned as Miss World, and she was also a doctor. She turned away from the entertainment industry and pursued her own career, which was of medical science. So this is something which is very common, and both the jury panel and as well as yourself, they both can relate to the attributes which you have mentioned in your answer. So it should be relatable. It should not be limited to your own personal experience. Now you may also encounter some of the funny, situational and hypothetical questions which may not sound relevant to you, but are there in order to judge your sense of humor and your fun personality. So one of the common questions which is asked at beauty pageant is, if you could have a lunch or a dinner with somebody in history, then who would it be? So make sure that you answer these questions very wisely. It should have a sense of humor, because sense of humor is always appreciated at a beauty pageant, because somebody who is very serious and grave and doesn't smile often, these people will be ignored by beauty pageant organizations. They will always go for somebody who is bubbly, flexible, and who knows how to have fun at that moment. Another question which you can get is, if you could be anyone else besides yourself, then who would it be and why? So this is a very interesting question, because it basically asks if you're satisfied with your own self or not, and if not, what is it that you want to change in yourself. So please carefully answer to such questions. Do not mention something which you don't believe in. State the qualities which are very integral to your own personality, and don't randomly list any of the qualities or any of the person just for the sake of answering that question. If I were answering this question, I would have said that I would rather be myself than anyone else, because in the world full of people who are trying to be each other, it's better to be yourself at that moment. So this is how I would have answered this question, but it totally depends on you how you are going to answer this question. Next question you may encounter is, as a Miss World or Miss Universe or as any beauty pageant title holder, do you feel a pressure in order to give more responsible comments? So this is a very political question, and you may encounter it only at the Miss Universe pageant, because they are very politically directed questions and they want to know and assess your thinking capability. So this is how you need to answer these questions, by challenging your inner self and making them aware that how as an individual or how as a title holder you set a benchmark for other people to follow. What will be the first thing you will do if you're crowned as Miss World, Miss Universe or any beauty pageant title holder? What are you going to do? So don't say that you're going to jump on bed or you're going to call your mother. Say something crazy, but it should be relatable. Of course, use your sense of humor to be very wild and creative about the answer, but again, do not go to that extent that it sounds very fake or superficial. Another very important question you may encounter is, what is it that you want to do for a living? Because most of the girls who appear for beauty pageant, they keep on saying that they want to be a part of modeling industry or Bollywood industry. So the organizers know through these questions answer that these people are not very serious about their titles or the pageant platform. They're using it merely as a stepping stone to bigger modeling projects or Bollywood industry auditions. So this is something which you need to avoid. You need to be very careful. You need to have your career options very much sorted, and you need to talk about your career options which are actually authentic from your own point of view. Some other questions which you may encounter is, what challenge did you face in your life and how did you overcome those challenges? These questions are usually directed in order to assess the risk-taking capabilities in any individual and how they perform in any given situation. If any negative atmosphere arises, if you're crowned as a beauty queen, how are you going to tackle those situations? So such questions are asked in order to assess your decision-making capabilities. You may also encounter questions like, what is your biggest disappointment in life? So don't go on narrating something which is very personal. Keep the questions answer very specific, but at the same time it should also sound authentic. One of the personal questions which I would like you to prepare is, what is that advice you would like to give to your younger self? So answer to this question is very tricky and interesting. If I were answering that question, I would say that just believe in yourself and don't think what others think about you, because whatever you do, how you look, how you talk, completely depends on your own perception. Nobody is going to remember that after 5 to 10 minutes. So do anything which you're doing in your life, just do it for yourself. So that is how I would have answered this question. Another question you may encounter in your beauty pageant closed door interview is, if the media is evoking a negative image about pageantry, how would you challenge them to think about it differently? Or you may also be asked, have you ever been bullied? Because Pia Wurzbach was bullied by social media, and this was one of the questions which she encountered in her closed door interview. How do you handle the peer pressure or the pressure you are encountering in the hectic schedule of the beauty pageant? This is also one question which you can encounter. Another interesting question which you may encounter is, did you hire a pageant coach in order to train you? So this question is usually asked in order to understand that whatever you're projecting here is merely a result of whatever training you have achieved in these months, or is it your real personality, your real own self? So this is how they assess if the candidate is actually willing to do something, add some more contribution from his own end, her own end, or is only simply following the instructions of the coach who has trained her. So that's it about the questions. Now coming to the body language, how should you keep your body language in the closed door interview? The moment you open the door and you take your seat, you are being observed from that very moment. So make sure you're very confident. Most of the girls whom I encounter in the behind the scenes video of Miss Universe, they are either shivering with their hands being cold, or their knees are wobbling. So these kind of body language, shaking of your feet or keeping your hands folded, so these kind of gestures should be avoided in order to come across as a very confident personality in order to win any beauty pageant. Smile back at the judges, but don't obviously stare at them, because when you smile back, the awkwardness is minimized. When you smile at somebody, you feel a great warmth or a connection with the other person who is going to interrogate you. And by smiling, I mean genuinely showing your teeth, not smirking, keeping your lips sealed, because when you keep your lips sealed while smiling, it looks like you're holding a secret. So when you walk in the closed door interview room, walk in like a queen, like you have already claimed the title, in all grace and sophistication, in all glory. Do not be nervous, because you're not walking in as a candidate, but as a representative of your own country or maybe state. Now another interesting fact which I want to make all of you aware about is that 90% of the things you have said in your closed door interview is ultimately going to be forgotten by the jury. All what they're going to remember is how you made them feel. So this is a very good common quote by Maya Angelou. People will forget what you said, people will forget what you did, but they are always going to remember how you made them feel. So this is the same thing which applies to beauty pageant closed door interview as well. Basically, it's a stress interview. They may ask you a series of questions and see if you're going to get disappointed at some point of time or not, you're going to get anxious or nervous or not, or you're going to easily go through where you're a very easygoing person, you're chilling out, but at the same time very focused on giving concise answers. So you have to be someone who is easy breezy, but at the same time very eloquent and focused on any beauty pageant. Now one tip which I would like all of you to follow is communication mirroring. This is a very new phrase which you might encounter. This basically means that how the other person is responding, you try to pick up their gestures, their body language or their vocabulary in order to impress them. So this is one common thing which I also observe in most of my life situations. So this is one secret. I usually talk to a child in a way he wants me to talk, and I talk to an older person in the way he would like me to talk. So that is one way which you can learn how to talk to whom, in what cultural context. Suppose somebody is from Philippines, you go on asking them about Gloria Diaz or Catriona Gray, or talking about the pearls of the Orient Seas. So this is something which they will relate to, because they are people who are very crazy about beauty pageants. So somebody who is coming from Europe, they may have different interests. So you need to learn people's interest in order to answer them. So in closed door interview, you usually don't get much time to interact a lot with your jury panel. Of course, they are interrogating you. You are not somebody who's going to interrogate them. But of course, what kind of words they are using in their communication, you can also mirror those words and add them to your answer while answering that question. So that was it for the closed door interview. Do let me know in the comment section what you think about the video. If you like the video, go give it a huge fat thumbs up, and if you like the channel, please don't forget to subscribe and turn on the bell icon. Follow me on all social media outlets, the link of which has been left in the description box below. Thank you for watching, and I will see you guys next time.